Hello everybody and welcome back to Comet Sighted. Today we are on Dev Diary number 18 for Imperator Rome, and we are going to be talking about another of the 7 military traditions. To recap from the 15th Dev Diary, there are 7 different military traditions in the world tied to which culture group you have, and due to the size of the traditions and how they are structured, you will see rather different and unique nations. Military traditions unlock unique abilities, unlock new units, and give special bonuses to units. Each military tradition has one bonus they get from the start, then 3 different paths they can go down, where after you have picked the 7th tradition in the path, you'll get the specific benefit for that as well. It is not very likely you will get to the end of all paths by the end of the game, so you really have to think about which path you want to progress down through first. One military tradition currently costs 800 military power points, and each tradition taken increases the cost by 50%, and each military technology reduces its cost by 25%. This time it is the Italic Traditions, which is available to all countries in the Latin culture group. They all start with the Walled City Tradition, which gives 25% to defensiveness, which basically makes sieges against your fortified cities take 25% longer. The first path of the Italic tree is the Tribal Path. Artisanal Bronzework gives 15% to light infantry defense. The Equestrian Order gives 15% to light cavalry offense. Deus Vult gives 15% omen power. The Acquisition of Wealth enables the raid city function. The Aulos gives 15% light infantry morale, and I do not know if I'm pronouncing that correctly in any way because I'm unfamiliar with that term. Mare Nostrum gives minus 25% to trireme maintenance cost. Rousing Oratory gives 15% manpower boon. The end bonus for this path is Hill Dwellers, which gives 15% combat ability to light infantry when fighting in hilly terrain. The second path of the Italic Traditions is the Support Path. State Navy gives 15% trireme morale. The Fabri gives 25% cheaper military buildings. Scale the Wall gives 15% siege ability, the opposite of what the starter in the Italic tree is. Castra enables border forts. Logistics of the State gives 25% cheaper light infantry, heavy infantry, and archers. Scutum gives 15% heavy infantry defense. That would be that's the name of the large traditional Roman, like rectangular curved shield with the metal boss in the middle. Foederati gives 15% light cavalry discipline. The end bonus for this path is Rome Ascendant, which makes Holy Triumph 50% cheaper. The third path of the Italic tradition is the Roman path. I expect this one to be used a lot. Principes, 15% heavy infantry discipline. March of the Eagles, I love that callback there. 5% morale recovery speed. Triarii, 15% heavy infantry offense. Roman Roads allows military road building. Professional Soldiers, minus 0.05 monthly war exhaustion. Velites, 15% light infantry offense. The Honor of Service, 15% manpower recovery speed. The end bonus of this path is the Triplex Aces, which allows a defensive stance for your armies, similar to the Greek Phalanx. And we have Scale the Walls, the third tradition in the support branch of the Italic tree highlighted here. Siege engines were scarcely used in early Republic sieges, instead relying on covert attempts to scale the walls, as well as sieges of attrition. During the Siege of Veii, around 396 BCE, the Roman engineers reputedly proved their worth by boring a great tunnel underneath the walls of the Etruscan city, breaking the siege once and for all. I like the little bits of history they add in there. There are a few abilities mentioned above that need some more information. Raid City. This is possible to do when you have taken control over hostile territory, giving you money and manpower while hurting that province in growth, output, and commerce for 5 years. Border Forts. This creates a colony in an unowned city that is adjacent to one of your own cities, adding 1 freeman pop of your culture and a fort for military power. Military road building, the cheapest and fastest way to build roads in the game. And here we have another delightful graphic of the First Legion, which looks sorely lacking in heavy infantry to me, and its raid mechanic. So, in this scenario here, it looks like the First Legion is trying to raid Tarquinii. Raiding the city would cost 5 military power points. Ooh. So, someone has a lot of power points to work with up here. Rome would get 7 ducats, 2,000 slaves. Tarquinii would be raided for 5 years, giving the effect of population growth minus 0.2%, commerce income down 50%, and local slave output down 25%. There's so much in this game that when I look at it, I think, well, that's cool. And then I think, you know what? That is going to be amazing because of the level of salt it will create in multiplayer games. I think this will be an amazing game to play multiplayer. And that's it. Next week, we'll be talking about loyalty and civil war. And from the delightful Johan's Twitter, we have another little preview here of March of the Eagles. Land morale recovery plus 5%. Irrespective of victory or defeat, as long as the eagle stands proud, the spirit of Rome imbues all of her sons. And for those of you who might not know, I tend to take it, you know, my level of history nerditude for granted. But for those of you who don't know, the traditional standard for a Roman military unit, a legion, would be a silver and then later a gold eagle. In terms of pontificating on what this means for the game, there's not a whole lot to cover, which I haven't already covered in Dev Diary number 15 when we looked at the first barbarian military tradition tree. But this looks good to me. I like the looks of it. These boons and these buffs and these abilities that they unlock are large enough that it will make playing these different trees really affect how you fight, how your military units fight in the game. There's a lot of abilities that give specific bonuses to specific units and specific types of terrain, meaning that someone with a certain type of tree would really want to try to fight in a certain type of terrain and try to lure your enemy to fight on your territory, while your enemy, if they're smart, would try to lure them out to fight on their territory. I really like that these different trees unlock different abilities specifically. Like, the raid city mechanic is only available if you take the tribal path. Let's see, there's other ones in here. Military road building is only on the Roman path. The border forts are only on the support path. I like that you have to pick and choose. I really do like that. And I've said it in the 15th Dev Diary, and I'll say it again here. I like that each one of these is 50% more expensive than the previous one, and then it's modified by the number of technology points you have. So you can, you could spend those points and go down the tree early, or you can wait until you have some tech, and then you can pay less to go down that tree later, but you're waiting to get the boons. I like that dynamic gameplay there. So we're going to leave it here for the day, guys. Let me know what you think about the Italic tradition tree, and I will see you all next week.